welcome back to the Shutter Sports Refresh, the weekly show that breaks down all of the most important news in sports. I'm your host, Lucky Roberts, and let's get right into it. For the last few months, the Refresh has been mostly playoff news, with the NBA and NHL playoffs finishing up their seasons. Well, they're both over now, and we've moved on into their off season. So here's a quick recap of the beginning of how each of the off seasons have gone for both of those leagues. For Oklahoma City won the NBA championship, it was right into the NBA draft, which went down last Wednesday and Thursday. The number 1 overall pick was already decided months ago. It was Cooper Flagg coming out of Duke. Flagg has been labeled as a future Hall of Famer by NBA fans all year, so this hype is coming into his rookie season is enormous. He's got selected by the Dallas Mavericks, who were previously the laughingstocks of the NBA and still kind of are, after trading away their superstar Luka Doncic for seemingly no reason earlier this year. Yes, they got good karma though, as they won the draft lottery and were able to select the future star Flagg. The second overall pick was Dylan Harper out of Rutgers, who went to the San Antonio Spurs. Harper is another very hyped up prospect, as he now heads to the Spurs to team up with former number 1 overall pick Victor Wembanyama, as long as he is able to get healthy. The Spurs are now loaded with young studs and are set to be a really good team for the next few years. The NBA Summer League kicks off on July 10th, so we'll give you more updates on how Flagg, Harper, and the rest of the rookies are doing then. Moving on to the NHL, and they had their draft on Friday and Saturday. The number 1 overall pick was Matthew Schaefer out of the OHL's Erie Otters. He was selected by the Islanders. This defenseman has incredibly high potential and will add to the incredible draft the Islanders had this year. They had a whopping 4 picks in the top 50, which will add some young talent to their otherwise pretty age roster. Second overall pick in this year's draft was Michael Misa, who is also from the OHL, on the Saginaw Spirit. He's headed to the San Jose Sharks. He's had a fantastic offensive player who will try to improve this Sharks team, who finished the worst record in the NHL last year. The NHL doesn't have a summer league like the NBA does, so we'll have to wait until the rookie camps in September to see how these picks pan out. Let's move on to UFC 317, which went down over the weekend. The big match in this one was between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira in the lightweight championship. The belt was open for the taking after former champion Islam Makhachev vacated it to move into the welterweight division earlier this year. And so the belt could have gone to either fighter, but in the end it was Ilia Topuria who came out on top after catching Oliveira with a ridiculous right hook for a knockout in just the first round. That means he is the new UFC lightweight champion. The other big matchup in the event was the fight for the flyweight championship between the champion Alexander Pantoja and Kai Kara-France. The finish wasn't quite as fast as the first fight. It was still over quickly, as Pantoja took down Kara-France via submission in the 3rd round. This is Pantoja's 4th successful defense of his title since winning it back in 2023. Congratulations to Topuria and to Pantoja for their wins. Moving on to F1, where Austrian Grand Prix went down in Spielberg. The winner of this one was Lando Norris of McLaren, continuing his wonderful season so far. His 3rd Grand Prix already on the year. In 2nd place was another McLaren driver, Oscar Piastri, and 3rd was Charles Leclerc of Ferrari. With this win, Norris is now just 15 points behind Piastri for 1st place in the driver's standings. For reference, 1st place winners get 25 points, so one more good race from Norris could propel him into 1st place. And because they were both McLaren drivers, McLaren is now over 200 points ahead of 2nd place Ferrari in the constructor standings. A lot of the season to go, but the lead is absolutely ridiculous in the constructor standings. So McLaren are easily favorites to win the constructor race, and one of their 2 racers are probably going to win driver standings. And for our final piece of news today, the biggest tournament in tennis started up today, Wimbledon. This tournament is the biggest tournament every single year, the most prestigious, and this year's talent is especially elite. In the French Open last month, the finals was between 2 young players in Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. The 2 are ranked number 1 and 2 in Wimbledon this year, and if they play each other again in the finals, we could be seeing the beginnings of an absolutely legendary rivalry. The first round of Wimbledon begins today, and Alcaraz plays his first match, and it will be likely have finished by the time this video has been uploaded, as Sinner is his first match tomorrow. The tournament will last until July 13th, so make sure to tune into the Refresh for the next few weeks to see what happens in Wimbledon. And that's it for this week's episode of the Shutter Sports Refresh. I've been your host, Lucky Roberts, and I hope you learned something today. You can check me, Shutter Sports Media, and the writer for this episode, Finn Noel, out on Instagram right here. Thanks for watching.